My name is Karla Weaver. I live in Aztec, New Mexico. I grew up in Oklahoma. OU, Boomer Sooners. My dad is from near Sapulpa. My mom grew up in Farmington. My first exposure to Jesus and God was in Nash, Oklahoma. That's where I grew up in the church, and I was baptized when I was 8. And I graduated out of high school, went to college a few places, and then kind of fell away from where I should have been, away from God. I did my own thing, made my own decisions, and totally fell apart. I became Jehovah Witness, and I couldn't find that feeling that I had before in my Baptist church. I had a son, and he passed away, and Jesse attended this church, and so he kind of volunteered and got my son's funeral here. And then after a couple years after the funeral and stuff, I decided to come back, and I got to know Rachel really well and a couple other people, and then I fell back in here. I met our pastor, who is also a Booner Sooner, and I reconnected. I found my peace. I found my road. I always say that God gives you a path. Well, my path was right on the far right. But with this church and with my faith in God and Jesus, and what I've discovered is no matter what mistakes I've made, what path I chose, God still loved me. And if anybody doesn't deserve His love, it would be me. God is amazing. Jesus is amazing, and He touched me, and I told Him in prayer, God, when I fall away, knock me down and drag me back to the path You need me to be. And that's where His blessings are. My blessings are in this church. I get to serve, and I cannot serve God enough and do enough for other people to make up for my wrongs. And God doesn't expect me to do that. But God gives me more peace and understanding the more I help, and my blessings abundantly. I'm one for doing it all by myself, and I'm learning to let go, let God. Somebody told me that years ago, and I never believed it. And then in the last few years, it's let go, let God. Because God's got this. God's got me. God's got my path. And yeah, I struggled, fallen on my knees a million times, but God's always helped me back up. And my blessings are abundant. And no matter how long I have on this earth, I will never be able to make up what God has given me. It's never about God or Jesus forgiving me. It's me forgiving myself. And loving me when I can't love myself, God and Jesus is always there. They're the ones that stand me up when I can't stand. And I'm so blessed. Everything is a blessing on this earth. And you know what? The short time I have on this earth, I get to spend eternity with God and Jesus and praise Him every day. And I will do everything I can on this earth to please Him, to follow Him as best as I can. And yes, I made the mistakes. I chose my path. Before I didn't follow His path, and that was my biggest mistake in life.